I think younger people think of ownership as a whole bunch of stuff that you have to carry around, and why would you ever want to do that? Why would you ever want to have a collection when you could have everything be quite portable? And I think that will really change and challenge the whole regulatory and legal regime we have, which is around protecting stuff, physical stuff. And so a lot of the conversations that we've had around protecting intellectual property and copyright and all that, I think we're going to see that sort of area of law develop, and the traditional areas of law and regulation around the physical things that you could carry from one place to another and put behind a locked door. I don't know if those are going to be relevant at all, and how quickly they'll adapt to this new idea of it's all in a cloud somewhere and you just want to be able to get to it as freely and easily as you can. People who participate in the shared economy right now are, high-income people who want to use Uber as an alternative to the slightly grotty subway. But could the sharing economy help people with low resources? And do we have a shared understanding in the United States of what sharing is? I think Uber, for example, or an Uber-like system could solve a lot of problems in terms of job access for low-income people. More poor people live in suburbs than in cities today, and suburbs are the places where there are the least effective mass transportation networks. So if you could get this system of ride sharing or car sharing to move people who couldn't afford a car from one suburb to another for work, I think that would be fantastic. I don't know that Airbnb is going to have any kind of penetration in a very low-income neighborhood. And I think that people in a very low-income neighborhood are not necessarily going to want to share their space, where they've got their little kids or they've got elderly relatives with strangers. But if we can think about shared means of production, which in some cases people worry about calling socialism, but if we introduce means of production into this shared economy, so shared 3D printers for prototyping, shared power tools for informal work or handyman stuff, that I think could be a beneficial way for the sharing economy to reach low-income people. So how can we take these sharing mechanisms and platforms and torque or repurpose or rethink them from the point of view of people for whom sharing is not like a cool, optional, sexy, I don't want to be burdened thing, but for people for whom it's an absolute necessity because they don't have the resources for traditional ownership. I don't think anybody has solved that. I think that Techonomy is a place where we can start to get those questions into the groundwater, so somebody who's enterprising can say, oh yeah, what would an Uber or an Uber X or an Uber Q or whatever for low-income people look like, and how do we test that and how do we build that?